This is a video for all the connections involved in owning Newmarket Cooley. Well, guys, Albi was out at the MCTA horse trials down in Maryland. This is it's a sort of one of my little favourite events. It's about an hour and a half from the farm, and it's a nice sort of low-key event that usually has a very, very challenging cross-country course. Unfortunately, the night before the competition, there was a monsoon. They had about 2 inches of rain. And as you can see, Albi, they're struggling through the deep going. Unfortunately, the dressage ring was an absolute mess. He was quite stuck and holding in the ground, and it was the same for everyone. The show jumping and cross-country course was a lot better, but after about 5 or 6 horses went in the dressage, the footing deteriorated horribly. You can sort of look there. I sort of stayed to the inside track there a bit. Saying that, Albi did a good test. He got a 27.6, so a pretty creditable score considering the circumstances. We might have got a few charity marks there considering how bad the ring was. Obviously, with Albi, we took him last week to a jumping show as well. So Albi's had quite a busy week. He went up to Saugerties, jumped him, I think, in the metre and the metre 15. He's a very good jumper. He's a naturally careful horse. He's got a super jump, super technique, and if anything, sometimes I feel like he's a little unsure of himself. Like he's a little hesitant off the ground, or a little bit sticky when he takes off, but I feel like that's a reflection of how careful of a jumper he is. So going back to the dressage, what did we score? We scored a 27.6, and we're about midfield after the dressage. I think there were 10 horses in it. We were in 5th place after the dressage. And he gave us a good round in the show jumping, which you'll see in a minute, and then I sort of ripped him around the cross country. And one thing about Albi, is a pretty fast horse, not in the sense of like if it was a horse race, he's medium speed, but he's very light in the mouth and a little bit spooky, so that when you have to slow him down and steady him up coming to a cross country jump or a show jump, he naturally sort of steadies himself. So it's sort of one of the good things with having a horse like Albi. I feel like we should keep him at this prelim level for a bit longer. I'm a little bit nervous about moving him up to intermediate for the moment, just because he feels strong and enthusiastic, but every now and then when I'm cross-country jumping, it's hard to see on the video, but I feel like he's a little cautious, and I get this sort of feeling as a rider that every now and then he's a tiny bit unsure of himself, and I just worry that if we put him to the intermediate level, the jumps just get bigger and wider, and the combinations get a little bit more complicated, and deep down I'm just worried that if he gets nervous and sticky off the ground at a really big wide jump, he could give himself a fright. So I feel like this is a good level for him at the moment. He's one of these horses in jumping that he kind of likes a bit of a forward ride. Like as I'm coming through the turn, if I can see a little bit of an acceleration to the jump, that's the best. So when you're watching this, is my best jumps where I've, like the last 2 strides, I sort of just accelerate a little bit, and then it sort of gives him a bit of momentum to jump across the fence. Funny enough, he jumps up really high. He's got a very good back end, and the worst distance, especially to an oxer, is slowing down or pulling back to a deep distance, because he automatically jumps way high. I got to give Albi credit. He, the footing was quite sticky and holding, as you saw in the dressage, and same sort of thing, not as bad in the show jumping, and again in the cross country. And in a weird kind of way, it's sort of good for them. Obviously, I don't think at this level it's going to injure or harm them, and it's sort of good for them to battle through some challenging testing terrain. It's sort of it's tiring ground, and I will say with Albi, he's a fit horse. You know, he's got a lot of thoroughbred in his pedigree. With the you know, he'd be one of the more blood horses that we have, and you know, he needs a little bit of a positive ride and a bit of a strong ride at a number of the fences. This is early on the course. This is about fence 5. Saying that, he was pretty good to us there. Anyway, guys, I'm pleased with Albi. We ended up winning the Open prelim on a score of 28. We were 1 second over the time cross country, and yeah, he's continuing to improve. He's got a fantastic record with us now. He's pretty much been very successful in every competition. So we'll just gently keep working away. We'll find another preliminary or a 2-star short competition, you know, in a couple of weeks or next month sometime. But he's in good shape. We'll give him a couple of easy days. It was sort of a bit of a hard run for him with the holding ground. And then we'll gear ourselves up for a next competition.